All right, Tim Bart's here, McArthur Ford in Salina, Kansas. It is February 22nd, 2022. As I've been calling it today, it's Tutu Day. And I was actually going to put a picture of someone in a tutu there, but I forgot to do that. But today is February 22nd, 2022. So hope you enjoyed your twos. And you were peaceful to everybody today. But anyway, I do want to welcome everybody to the live stream. Of course, shout out to all the members. So a lot of members this week, and we gave a giveaway this last week. And so that was really fun. So we'll do that every week for a while. I have several different gifts to give away. So we'll be doing that. Actually made this little mug for myself. Might be adding that to the list there. But so don't forget, if you're not subscribed yet, hit the red subscribe button down below so you can get subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Wait, hold on, I got a graphic for that. Hit the subscribe button there, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can get notified the next time we have another video uploaded to the channel. Oh, my audio is really loud. Sorry about that, folks. How's that? A little bit better? Not so loud. So there we go. If I get knock it down a notch there. There we go. So I must be really loud today or something. So anyway, so there we go. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, don't forget to smash that like button. I'd appreciate it if you guys did that for me. So I'll go ahead and wait right now while you do that. Everybody done that? We're good? All right. So thanks for smashing that like button. Also, don't forget, if you want to become a member, you can join. It depends on what platform you're looking this on. Then you can go ahead and hit that join button down there, learn a little bit more about it. I also have a link in the description as well. If you want to check that link out, that allows you to be able to subscribe if you want to, and join the membership. I think it's in there. Just go ahead and click on that. And don't forget too that we are doing this as a podcast. So we are recording this as an audio format. We'll have it on there. It's usually about 9 p.m. As soon as this is over, usually about 15 minutes, I have it up on the podcast streaming platforms, different ones. If you don't have one of your favorites, you can go to our website. So you can just go to McArthur.com there, /fordvideoguy. And that can get you right to our podcast there. And of course, this was recorded several weeks ago before episode 23 or 26 and 27. But you can check that out as well there. So also, if you have any questions, you can see the email addresses down there. So for questions, fordvideoguy@gmail. Pretty caught up on those, so I'm trying to now I should be able to do that daily and keep up with those questions. I answered I think the last ones that I had in there this afternoon. And then also, if you have any questions, sales questions, timothybarts@gmail.com. Pretty easy. If you can remember my name, you can remember my email address, is what I always say. So you can check that out there as well. So previously this last week, we did have several videos go live about every day this last week. So recent videos that we have, there's links down in the description. It's on the 22 Ford Maverick, the driver controls overview. So there's a link of that. Last Wednesday that went live, and I think a lot of people enjoyed that. Also, the 22 Ford Expedition What's New on Friday went live, and then on Monday, the 22 Ford Edge video of What's New went live as well, just last night. And I've been putting those on as premiere videos, which what that means is that it'll go live, and when that video goes live, I'm going to be in there and trying to chat with you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. I've been enjoying that a little bit because I don't get a chance to just kind of see how people are doing and everything in the live stream because it's so busy with so many people in here that I don't get a chance to do that. So I'm doing those as premiere videos. So this week, tomorrow night, we have a 22 Ford Maverick Flexbed overview. Be talking about the Flexbed information, just so you know. A lot of you probably already aware of a lot of that, but I'm going to do an overview on that, as well as we are working on the 22 Ford F-150 Lariat Complete Guide walk around. That one takes a long time. It's going to take a long time to edit probably, so that may be next week before we see that one go live. But this week I may have a video. I might do a video on the Everglades edition for the Ford Bronco, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit as well here, because that build and price is available. Also, don't forget, we are going to be going live this Thursday. Last Thursday I had a hiccup because didn't realize that Facebook would Facebook would block the music that I use here on YouTube. They don't have a problem with it. because I use their music, but Facebook does. So that's what happened last week. So this week I know that. So no audio. We'll go live like 60 seconds before we're ready to go live. I'll go up just so people can get that notification, and then we'll go live almost within 60 seconds with a timer there with no audio. And we should be good to go there. So if you're wanting, if I didn't answer your questions here, you're on Facebook, go over there and check that out. Again, there's some things that I talked about last Thursday that we're going to talk about tonight. So there's nothing on there that I won't make sure you guys are aware of and know about on the live stream here as well. So just keep that in mind. And then let's get into some things. Of course, I can't, Ford doesn't want me to talk about any of the scheduling information. So most of you already know Maverick isn't being scheduled. That's not new news. I got that from the Maverick Truck Club, as well as some different Facebook groups of somebody else that put it out there. So I did not get that from Ford or any of their information, but there are several models that are scheduling this week, and Maverick is not one of them. So just something to keep in mind. Mach-E, though, the order bank's closed for several of their models, but they're still open up for the Select and the GT on the Mustang Mach-E, as well as on the Explorer. Try to keep away from that premium tech package. They're not scheduling those right now, so just keep that in mind. Also, some order guides got updated this week. The F-150 Lightning order guide was updated just recently, and I looked through it. I looked pretty closely. The only thing that I did see is that the Ford Charge Station Pro, that they actually added the verbiage there that it'll be delivered to the customer through a third-party supplier on the Pro order guide. And then on all the other trims, the XLT, the Lariat, as well as the Platinum, they added the terminology here that you can actually take out that charger if you want. So Pro or Ford Charge Station Pro Delete acquired an extended battery. So if you have the extended battery, you can delete, you can take off that. If you don't want the big charger, you can take that off of your order if you want. Just really depends. Now, I did find out that the Ford Charge Station Pro is going to be $1,295 for people with a standard battery. So if you get a standard battery, you want to get that Pro charger, it's going to cost you about $1,300. And that will be, you'll purchase that from Sunrun, and they'll help you install it and everything too. So you'll still have to pay for the install with Sunrun on those, but they will, your extended batteries will come with it. Standard batteries just cost a little extra. Another order guide update this week was the Bronco. They did update their 22 order guide because they now include the Everglades as well as the Raptor information. So that's why I'll probably be doing videos on that. So Everglades version, kind of showed you some images of that last week. It was at the Chicago Auto Show. Both of those were. So we'll go over. Eventually, I'll probably do the Everglades and the Raptor both. Both of those versions are available to current unscheduled Bronco order holders. So it's only available to them. So just keep that in mind. But so I'll kind of make sure I mention that when I talk about that. But those order guides, as well as the build and price for the Bronco, is up now. For the Everglades and the Raptor. For those that have it, they can go in there and configure their own Raptor Everglades edition. Again, it's going to be available to others afterwards, but they're given the first priorities and first chance at those to them. Probably, later in 22, you'll probably be able to order those. But for right now, that's it. But you can go in there and mess with those order guides, or mess with the build and price on those and see what's going on there. All right, so let's talk about some Ford news. Actually, before I get into that, we have one of our followers, someone that I met last week. I forgot to put the picture in there. George Adams. I met him when I was in Maine last week. Maybe it's been longer than that. Time is just flying. But I met up with him at the Becky's Diner, which is really cool. It was on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives episode. Season 10, episode 10, by the way. And that was really fun to meet up with them and kind of talk to them. But he was interviewed for an article for Newsweek. And that article, I linked that down below in the description. So you can, if you want to read that article, great article about his Maverick, 22 Ford Maverick, why he chose the Ford Maverick and how he had it equipped and some other things. Check out that article. One of our own followers here on the channel, he is here. He usually watches it on Wednesdays. Last week I noticed he was on live with us and chatting with us, so great. He's a follower of the channel and of the live stream, so definitely check that article out and read that article. So that's pretty cool. Also, in the Ford news, a couple things. I mentioned this last Thursday. I'm going to mention it tonight. The Mach-E did get a nice award from Consumer Reports. It knocked off Tesla as the top pick for EV vehicles. So I was going to read a few of the little things that they said. The main reason they chose the Mach-E over the Model 3 and even the Model Y for the Tesla was the driving experience. They mentioned that the driving experience is closer to. Oh wait, that was about the. Actually, they're talking about the Model 3. Sorry, I got my highlighted notes cut off. Is a great choice for Consumer Reports. They recommend it. It's a driving experience closer to a high-performance sports car than a sedan, but the Mustang Mach-E is also very sporty. Plus, it's more practical and easier to live with. The Ford is also quieter and rides better. Both cars have large infotainment center screens, but the Mach-E's is far easier to operate and doesn't require multiple steps to activate routine features, such as using the defroster or adjusting the mirrors as with the Tesla. Also, the Mach-E has an edge when it comes to reliability, according to first-year reports in our annual auto surveys for Consumer Reports members. Says that the Model Y is more similar to the Mach-E than the Model 3 and even outscores the Ford in road test, but the Model E's reliability has been much worse than average, which has kept it from the top picks. So then they mentioned that conversely, our members have reported very few problems with the Mach-E so far, giving it an important advantage over the Model Y and even the Model 3. And the Ford has another notable edge, its driver monitoring system. So they said that Ford's system gains these points because its Blue Cruise active driving assistance system has an effective driver monitoring system that gives appropriate warnings when the driver's attention wanders. On the other hand, Tesla's autopilot system can still be used if the driver is looking away or using a phone, as long as there is at least one hand resting on the steering wheel. So again, that's a great system. I'm going to get a chance to use it here, hopefully this summer, when my Lightning gets here, and be able to test that Blue Cruise out. But there you go. So the Tesla, or the Mach-E, has knocked off Tesla on that point on, for Consumer Reports anyway, on their surveys there. Now let's talk about. There's an article that came out today, and I read it just real quickly before this, on the Maverick selling out of Brazil. Now, I have links to all these articles down the description. I just threw them in there about 2 minutes before the live stream went live. So if you want to check those articles out later, I have links down there for all these. But there's an article on that has a Maverick sells out in Brazil. Basically, it says in here, I'm just not going to read a little bit of the article. It says the 22 Ford Maverick also enjoyed immediate success when it launched in Brazil recently, as the compact pickup sold out in that country in just 24 hours. Now, listen to this next part, because that's what people need to read. The first batch of Mavericks in Brazil consisted of 300 units. So only 300 units were sold there, and then they were all Lariat FX4 models with Ford's 2.0 EcoBoost and a sticker price of $47.5 US. So buyers will receive their pickups within 60 days, and the next batch is already available to order through dealers. The very first Mavericks arrived in Brazil last October to help support the launch. So these were ones that were delivered when the hybrids weren't being really produced yet. So these were some of the early ones, is what you were looking at. So I think a lot of people kind of got heated that they were working towards getting Brazils built and such and that kind of thing. Well, we already know that Canadians, their Mavericks are being built alongside U.S., so, so there are probably some that are being built for Brazil as well, but that shouldn't, affect it, and people shouldn't be, all upset about it or anything. So hopefully they read to that the way it is. So I read the rest of it a little bit, just kind of talks about the factory program and everything else like that, the demand of it and everything. But keep in mind, I think a lot of people they kind of skimmed over that and didn't read where it says the very first Mavericks arrived in Brazil last October. So they're not talking about recent. So just keep that in mind as you read that article and think through that. So, and if I missed something there, let me know on social media. I'm sure you guys will. So plus, there are a lot of people that want an XL, XLT, and they want hybrids. And as you can tell, the first 300 were not hybrids. So now also let's talk about the Ranger Raptor reveal. Okay, so that was launched today, and I do have an article linked down below from Autoblog, but there are a lot of different places that did this as well. And so it was pretty cool. Ranger Raptor here. Actually, we're about time. I want to talk about. We'll get into that. So for those that are, I'm gonna wait 3 seconds For those that aren't watching this completely through and going to the timestamp that I have in there, they're looking for the is it true? Well, bear with me just a second. Well, let's talk about the Ranger Raptor real quick first before we get into the is it true? So the Ranger Raptor was revealed, and it's the second generation of the Raptor. Of course, the Ranger Raptor was only released in Europe, and for the first generation. This generation will come to the U.S. So they're saying it is going to be a gas-powered. It's a twin-turbo, gas-powered 3.0-liter EcoBoost V6, similar to what they're putting in the Bronco Raptor, stuffed between its, they said, punched-out fenders. It's tuned to develop 284 horsepower and 362 pound-feet of torque in Europe, but in the U.S., they're expecting 392 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. So real close to what the Bronco Raptor is going to get. Also, the outgoing 2.0 diesel in Europe will continue to be available in the Ranger Raptor, though likely not in the United States. That's been a big engine over in Europe. All right, so the engine says exhales through an active exhaust system with 4 different drive modes. In a familiar 10-speed automatic transmission, sending the power to 4 wheels via a 2-speed transfer case, plus front and rear locking differentials. So Ford explained that the Raptor's main mission is high-speed off-roading, but the truck is also capable of more traditional and slower-paced off-roading. Overlanding was one of the use cases engineers had in mind. So it does have upper and lower control arms are made of aluminum to keep the weight down. Or in check, they say. Both axles gain more travel and adjustable Fox 2.5-inch live valve shocks, similar to what we've seen the F-150 Raptor, right? As well as the Bronco Raptor, with internal bypass technology that comes standard. Bottom-out control that maximizes the damping force in the final 25% of suspension travel to ensure that the underbody doesn't have an expensive encounter with a rock. Of course, it will have skid plates underneath, though. They have drive modes will be normal, sport, slippery, rock crawl, sand, mud ruts, and Baja modes. Of course, each of them will be adjusted. The traction, the stability control systems, the ABS sensitivity, the transmission shift points, and the throttle response based on those drive modes. So, anyway, Raptor, pretty cool. I do actually have a video, but I don't think I'm going to play it just for the fact that I don't want it to help because I know that the videos, if they play through, could get banned by YouTube. So I don't want to do that with the live stream. So I'm not going to play the video, but link down in the description to the video, 2-minute video. It's pretty cool to see and watch as it's in its environment there, and so you can check that out. And didn't actually show you any images of that, but all right. Let's talk about is it true this week. So I did see an article yesterday. Thanks. We have one of our, I think it's Mark, that let me know. He's one of our members, Vols44. Thank you for tagging me in this post on the Maverick Truck Club. I actually linked that down in the description as well under this. Actually, I didn't link it in there. I'll get that link in there after we're done here, but it's on Maverick Truck Club. It basically said no more XLTs or hybrids will be built this year if they are not already scheduled for production. Is that true? No. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this on our topic later today about getting those different orders scheduled, but it was really weird that the dealer had told him, hey, Ford reached out to us on Monday that they're not building any more XLTs or hybrids, or maybe it's XLT and hybrids. I don't know. But that is not true. They're going to continue to produce them. In fact, Ford, in the information I have that went out today, even says that they're going to be produced into this summer. So that is not true. That is false. So that's not going to happen. So I know that's a pretty quick one. So I have actually more. Is it true? I had something else that happened this week that I kind of want to talk about, because I talked about a little bit last week. A lot of people have said, asked about dealer markups, and that Ford is cracking down on dealer markups. So I want to show you an article that I think some of them had brought that to their attention for that reason. If I can find the right thing. There we go. So there's this article on KBB where it says Ford warns its own dealers to stop. And it says, in a letter to dealers, Ford Vice President of Sales Andrew Frick wrote, "It has come to our attention that a limited number of dealerships are interacting with customers in a manner that is negatively impacting customer satisfaction and damaging to the Ford Motor Company brand and dealer body reputation. Buyers follow a two-step process to order the truck. Now he's talking about in this about the F-150 Lightning. So I think that's where some things are getting construed and taking quotes out of some articles and making them work for other things. This is an article that was just talking about the F-150 Lightning. Okay, and so this this letter that went out was in reference to just the F-150 Lightning. So it says buyers follow a two-step process to order the truck. They must first purchase a $100 refundable reservation that earns them the right to order a truck. Ford later sends an invitation to place an order. Ford sells the reservations directly. Buyers then later place an order online, but must designate a local dealership to deliver the vehicle. In anecdotal, I said that wrong, reports on enthusiast forums, Lightning reservation holders have reported dealers asking them to pay additional fees to maintain the reservation or be among the first to place an order, as well as charging dealer markups once the customer does place a final order for a Lightning. These actions are perceived as threatening customers by withholding their opportunity to convert reservation to orders. This behavior is not allowed. So there you go. So that's the article there. Hold on a second. Oh, sorry. There we go. So that the reference to that article was about the F-150 Lightning, because the Lightning is ordered, reserved, and everything is done online, just like with the Mach-E, and that's why the invoice and sticker price are both the same. And so Ford's intention is they want those to be sold that way. So that quote's been going around that dealers can't mark up vehicles anymore. Ford's cracking down on them. They're going to take allocations. That was all in the article, in like this article, and in the letter that went out to dealers, and that was in a reference to the F-150 Lightning. So just wanted to clear that up, that dealers can mark vehicles up, that, you know, all the other vehicles are actually, you know, ordered by the dealership. Those can be ordered, can be marked up if they want to. It's their choice what they want to do. You know, there are good practices and bad practices to this, of, you know, whether you know, when you go to do that order, of letting the customer know, hey, this is gonna be MSRP, you know, and then when it comes in, changing that price on them, that's, you know, that's not really cool on that. So let's talk about our process. And maybe people are asking, well, do you mark up your vehicles? So, and I've mentioned it in a lot of my videos and live streams in the past, but I kind of want to mention this because something happened this last week, and, you know, it wasn't a great experience, you know, on our part. It reflected negatively on us, and was a bad experience for a customer that was trying to get a vehicle from us. So we are selling all of our vehicles, retail orders, at MSRP. So those 500 plus people that ordered with us are purchasing those Mavericks at MSRP, as well as our F-150 Lightnings when those are placed, as well as our Broncos, all the other ordered vehicles. I think the F-150 Raptor is about the only one that we might be marking up on an ordered unit. So all of them are at MSRP. Now, if we have any stock inventory that comes in, or a vehicle that's not taken and becomes a stock inventory, we are some of those will be marked up on for the Maverick. That right now we are having a dealer markup on those. So we are not disclosing it as a market adjustment fee. We're not calling that. We're calling it what it is. We are over MSRP, and we're selling it for over MSRP. And I mentioned it in the live streams before. EcoBoost vehicles at $5,000 over, the hybrids at $7,500 over. I noticed this last week that Chapman, which is another very predominant Maverick dealership that's getting a lot of Maverick orders, they're doing similar pricing. I think they're $5,000 on EcoBoost and they're $6,000 on their hybrids. So a little bit pretty similar to that, and they're noticing too, and that's what the market is. And we always price all of our vehicles, Mavericks, F-150s. Like right now, if you look on our website, F-150s are discounted and that's changed. Every week we actually get together, and Tuesdays is the day we get together at 2:30 here. And we get together and we go over our inventory. We look and see how many vehicles do we have in stock. How many should we be arriving this month? How many is arriving next month? How many have we sold, and that kind of, so we kind of manage our inventory and manage our pricing based on that. So if, we want to pace out, we want to sell a certain amount of F-150s, like this month, our goal was to sell 30 F-150s. We're right now at 29 F-150s out of 30. So with just about a week left. So we didn't change and adjust any of our pricing. Whereas a couple of weeks ago, we lowered our prices because we had a pretty good significant amount of F-150s in stock, and we wanted to hit a certain goal. So we did lower our price. Maverick is one of them where we have to have that price a little bit, and we also look and see what vehicles are going for at different auctions. I've talked about this in my live streams before, so I don't want to keep going over and over this, but there was a situation where we had a vehicle. I will tell you this: if you see any of our inventory, any Mavericks on our website, if they're in transit, we cannot adjust. We can't actually put our internet price on there. It only is going to show the MSRP, and I think that's what happened in the situation was. Somebody had seen this Maverick that we had on our website. It was a couple different units that the region was rewarding to us, an XL hybrid, an XLT hybrid. Saw that on our website, said he wanted to get it. He went ahead and decided he wanted to get that, and then he wanted to put a deposit down on it. So we did that. Where we failed, we messed up, and if you've watched me, you'll know I'm very transparent. I'm trying to be as honest as I can be. And so I will tell you right now, we messed up on this one. We made a mistake. We did not confirm with the customer before taking it. Now, by the way, we did not charge this person's credit card. We took a credit card number as a deposit, but we did not charge his card. He was not charged any kind of deposit on this deal, but we should have confirmed pricing, so he knew that it was going to be over MSRP, because I think that's where we made a flaw here. Because of this, we do have now a new policy that this is a vehicle that comes in, somebody wants to buy, that's not here yet. That is going to be treated just like an order, so a buyer's order be filled out, be signed by them, so they know the selling price, they know the market, they know any fees and everything ahead of time before we take any credit card deposit for that. So again, we messed up. That's something that in this case with this customer, we probably should have done correctly. We didn't do. We can't change what happened in the past, but we can put some things and processes in place to make sure this doesn't happen to anybody else in the future. So we don't feel bad about marking our vehicles up on these vehicles, because we're seeing, I've seen a lot of people now that are saying, hey, they're turning their vehicles. They're not planning to keep them. They're gonna buy them and they're gonna sell them. And that's why you see so many on the used car market. In fact, the article on that one article talked about that. It talked about those vehicles and being on there and being turned real quickly, and how the used car, all of a sudden there was used Mavericks on the market so quickly because people were just turning them because they saw there was profit to be made on them. So, dealers want to make the profit. So do some of the customers out there that are buying Mavericks and they're turning them. I've seen a lot of people that are getting two vehicles. They ordered two Mavericks. They're planning to keep one and they're going to sell one because they were seeing that. So that's just, that's going to happen. So anyway, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, because you'll find with me that, if something comes up, I'm going to go head on with it and tell you what I think and everything else like that. That's just, just the way we are, and that's the way I am. So I just wanted to make sure that I covered that. So I'm not going to skirt around that and not talk about it and sweep it under the rug or whatever. But anyway, we can move on and learn from those mistakes and be a better dealer in the long run for it. So anyway, we are 1.5 minutes. So there was one other article I wanted to kind of reference that. Well, Mark, we'll come over here. Let me get that up first. There we go. And then come on over here. Make sure I get this button right this time. There we go. So the Bronco Wildtrak, also with the building price and the order guide out on the Bronco, we found a couple other things that is available for this year as well in the Bronco, and that is that the Bronco Wildtrak is going to get a new Haas suspension. So this kind of talks about some of it, so you can kind of see some of that under there. But we do know that there's 4 versions of the Haas suspension. Version 1 is what we find on the base, Big Ben, Outer Banks, and Black Diamond versions. Version 2 is what we find on the Badlands Wildtrak, Everglades, and all your Sasquatches. And then version 4 is what's going to be on the Raptor. So you can see they're upgrading that. You can see the Fox there. That's pretty cool there. So it is going to be a hybrid between the 2.0 and 4.0, they said, that include a Fox 2.5-inch internal bypass dampers. Sounds familiar? Putting that on the Raptor, the Ranger Raptor. A Ford Performance Severe Duty upgraded steering rack, from the Bronco Raptor, upgraded inner and outer tie rods, a rear stabilizer bar, and off-road competition-inspired spring rates. Also, it'll be a $2,500 option, looks like, that'll be equipped on the Wildtrak. And also adds a host of other equipment upgrades, including the capable powder-coated front bumper, front with the tow hooks, the steel bash plate, the integrated fog lights in those. Also, this option is only available to unscheduled order holders for the 22 model year, which in this case, which is also the case with the Everglades and the Raptor. So that's something else, especially those people that were looking to get, see if this works. Oh, there we go. It didn't describe button up there. I have those to run like as soon as it goes over to that scene. So, anyway, so that's some upgrades for that system. And so, you know, those people that are unscheduled, there are a lot of people that either have a Badlands or Wildtrak. They'll have an option now to upgrade for $2,500 to this Haas 3.0 suspension on those Wildtrak orders. So that's pretty cool. Ford's doing that, so they're kind of helping people out. All right, a couple other things I want to talk about. I had a lot of news going on this week, and so we are ready for this week's topic. And I wasn't quite through everything I wanted to talk about going into that, but we will bypass this other about the price protection and such, and we'll get on to the topic. So this week's topic is why your June-July Maverick hybrid orders hasn't been scheduled yet. So I actually Sunday looked through a lot of our orders. You know, I went through a lot of our June, July, August orders to see what are some common themes, what are some common things on those orders. And before I even get a chance to do, before I thought, well, okay, we'll discuss that today. It'll be great. But then Ford came out with something this week that I thought was pretty interesting. So let's go on over to a little web browser here. Shut that off. There we go. All right, so I went through our orders. So looking at our orders, and I looked to see what some common things are. So here is the rundown of the total numbers here of what EcoBoost, I did break it down by XLT, Lariat trim, just for me, my sanity here, and to look and see what we had still left to be scheduled. You know, EcoBoost, not a lot of the early orders that need to be scheduled. We have, of the XL EcoBoost, we only have 3 orders unscheduled. Those all were ordered in January. On the XLT, we have, looks like 1 from June, 1 from August, and the rest are November, December, January. And I can't remember which of these, but I know some of these EcoBoost orders, one of them at least is a first edition, and then one of them was one that was ordered as a front-wheel drive with a 4K tow package, and the customer had not reached back to us to change that order, and that's why it was still unscheduled. And then the Lariat trim, we have 2 from July, 2 from August, 3 from September, and then the rest October, November, December. But hybrid is where most people want to look. So XL hybrid, 0 from June, July, August, and I'm going to get into why. And then on the XLT Lariat trim, as you can see, XLT we have 5 from June, 51 from July, 22 from August, and then of course September, October, November numbers, as you can see there. And then on the Lariat trim, it's 4 from June, 7 from July, 6 from August, and then September, October, November trickles down from there. So we have a total of 190 hybrids not scheduled yet, and 9 from, so if you add them up, 9 from June, 58 from July, 28 from August. So if you look at the similarities over there on the right, you can see which ones had the luxury package, either an XLT or a Lariat luxury package, right, for those different months there. So on the hybrid, if you look down in there, we have the 78 from June, July, August. 75 to 78 had an XLT or Lariat, an XLT luxury package, and the other 3 had the Copilot 360 package. So they had one of those 2. And then of your Lariat, 17 out of 17 from June, July, August have ordered with the luxury package. So that is the holdup on a lot of these, which is why Ford sent out this little letter, which is kind of funny because I actually have referenced a lot of this. So they did go ahead and send this out. So I'm going to read some of this for you. And they didn't say I couldn't share it. So here we are, Ford. So it's your fault. You didn't say I couldn't. So there is no denying that the excitement and demand of the all-new Ford Maverick truck has been tremendous. The 22 Ford American truck the North American Truck of the Year has been a huge hit with customers, with many still waiting on updates regarding the status of their retail orders. The combination of incredible, strong retail order demand and unprecedented supply chain issues has created a number of capacity constraints that have prolonged our ability to schedule many of these retail orders for production. And it says these constraints will require some customers to have to either modify their existing 22 model year retail order or wait to place a 23 model year retail order when the Maverick order bank reopens this summer. Something I mentioned, I think last week, the week before, right? So that just points right to that information that I've already shared with you. And you guys being in here probably already aware of this more than most dealers are, because you watch and follow the live stream here. So the priority for remaining production will go to unscheduled Maverick retail orders based on the date that they were submitted by the customer's Ford dealership, vehicle model and configuration selected, part availability, and the number of vehicles the customer's Ford dealership receives. So this is number one is by the retail order receipt date. Older retail orders scheduled first. And so a lot of people right here are going, that's not true, Tim. There are people that ordered after me, they've been scheduled and everything else. We got to look at number two. Number two says the vehicle model and configuration selected relative to capacity constraints on these specific option features and packages. And so they mentioned the Copilot 360 package, which is optional on the XL, XLT, and Lariat. The XLT Luxury package, which is optional on the XLT. The Lariat Luxury package, which is optional on the Lariat trim, does require the Copilot 360 package. The optional spray and bed liner, which is optional on all of the trims, is included in the Lariat Luxury package. They mentioned the cargo management system, which says it's optional on the XL, XLT, and Lariat, but also says it's included in the luxury package. So I think they mean those rails on the side of the bed, from what I understand. Bed extender, which is optional on the XL, XLT, and Lariat. Bed tray, optional on all of them. And then they mentioned the hard trifold tonneau cover, but really any of the bed covers are constrained, which are all optional on all the trim levels. So that's the second thing that they take in consideration is when they ordered, but also what they have capacity for. So if they can only, I mentioned this, I don't know how many weeks, that if they can only produce so many with this luxury package or that luxury package or this many Copilot 360s, they're going to take those orders until those are full, and then they're going to bypass the rest of those orders until they get down to one that doesn't have any of these packages on there, and they're going to start scheduling those. So if you see somebody that's scheduled, September or something, when you have an order in June that's not selected, that's probably why. And then number three is retail order verification completed by the Ford dealership. I've also mentioned this. Some dealers are like, oh, they don't have to do that. I've mentioned it since for 6 months now. There's a required step by the Ford dealership for retail order scheduling is to complete the customer order verification process, which for the Maverick is ROVP, which authenticates and approves the retail order. And then number four is the dealer allocation based on the approved market basket formula, which Ford doesn't tell us what that formula is, but it is based on that. So, keep that in mind. So what they're telling customers is they should do one of two things. And they actually are asking Ford dealers. They said, Ford dealers, help us out with this. Reach out to your customers and give them these two options to help their orders out or to give them what they need. Number one is the customer can work with their Ford dealer to make amendments to their 22 model year retail order. Remove constrained features or options, dramatically improving the opportunity for it to be scheduled for this production year. And it does have a memo here. It says, please note that we recommend against any changes to retail orders, body code or PEP code. That means Lariat to XLT or vice versa, as this will also change the receipt or date of the order. So I've mentioned this before. This isn't new stuff, right? Here, hold on. Let me take this off. Right? That's not new stuff. I've mentioned it before. All right. And it says number two is the customer can continue to wait for the 22 model year. Let me go back to this here. The customer can continue to wait for the 22 model year retail order to schedule within the capacity constraint levels. If the order is unable to be scheduled in the 22 model year, the customer would need to work with their Ford dealer to convert their retail order to a 23 order when the order banks open this summer. So anyway, so that's something to keep in mind. I mentioned it last week, get those things taken off. And what's funny is I actually made a list of customers from June, July, August that needed some things taken off, and I made a list, and I got with all my sales guys yesterday. I said, hey, let's call these people. Let's see if they're okay with taking these things off there, because it is holding up their orders, and hopefully we can get them scheduled, because it's already bad enough that they have the XLT luxury package on their orders. Let's see if they're okay taking off the bed covers, or the another one that they, Ford doesn't mention in here, but it is constrained, is that protective fender and hood film. If you have that, that is, we call it clear bra on here, but it's basically a protectant that goes on the fenders and the hood to protect it from rock chips and such if you drive down a lot of dirt roads behind other people. Or gravel roads, and that could be put on by your dealer. So you can get that put on later. So take that off your order as well. And then also, they didn't mention this, but the bed mat. Bed mat is also a constraint item too, but is not mentioned on this list or this email. So that's also something else you may want to consider taking off your order. So just keep that in mind. Last little paragraph that I want to mention in here is that they have this one little line I want to kind of read. It says, we understand that customers who place the retail order are frustrated with continuing to wait for news on the status of their order. Yes, right? Which is why we are looking for our Ford dealers to support by advising their customers of their options. It is extremely important that our retail order customers understand their options and are given the choice of how they would like to proceed before any changes are made to their order. So, I even had some sales guys here say, yeah, just go ahead and take it off. I'm like, no, you call your customer first and get their permission, and then I'll take it off. So, you just want to make sure, and if you have one of these items and you want to switch it up, I mentioned it last week or the week before, try to, look and see if you have some things. If you want that luxury package, and if you have a June, July order, just bear with it. You're going to get your vehicle ordered the way you want it to. That way, I think it's the orders that are later that have those luxury packages and Copilot 360 and the optional spray and liners from September, October, or probably more like October, November, that are probably more in jeopardy of not getting theirs built as a 22. But if you just want it, because it's great features. I have a Bronco with the mid package. Mid package is similar to the luxury package. My mid package has the heated seats. It has a dual zone climate control. It has intelligent access. It has a lot of features that I actually really enjoy. It's worth the $1,500 that I paid for that package. I got a Bronco today that did not have the mid package, but was a Big Ben. And I'm like, no heated seats, no dual zone climate, no intelligent access. This sucks. For me, that's the way I felt. So if you want the luxury package, you want those things, just know that you're probably gonna have to wait for them, but it's probably worth it, especially if you plan on keeping it for a while. That is something that you need to keep in mind. If you're gonna keep it for a while, it's going to be worth it getting those and waiting a little bit to get those. But those people that are later, they might have to go flipped into 23 if you want that. So there are a couple other frequently asked questions, and I can go over these a little bit later if you guys want to on the Q&A. But I do have our list that Ford gave us, 7 pages of orders that we need to go through, but it's really cool. So it was nice. I spent 2 hours on Sunday going through June, July, August orders to get the same information on the orders in my own spreadsheet, and then 2 days later they give it to me in an already done sheet for all of our orders. But that's all right. So I appreciate Ford giving that to us, and your dealers will have that too. So if you're not with McArthur, with another dealer, they'll get that same list. They should have got an email, probably was sent to the general manager, and hopefully they can share it with their salespeople so that they can connect with you. But if they don't, you can reach out to your dealer and say, I'd like to make these changes. And remember, if they tell you, oh, Ford says not to make any changes on our order, say, it's okay. Ford said it's okay. Check your email. Ford sent you guys an email. They sent it to your dealers that it's okay to do this. Just don't change your trim. Don't change from hybrid to EcoBoost. Don't make those 2 changes. Otherwise, it's going to redate it. Anything else you can do, and it's not going to change the date. Trust me, I've done it on at least 20 orders already. I know that it doesn't change that date. I'm 100% confident that it does not change that date. So you can do that and make those changes to help your orders out. Again, bed covers are pretty easy to do, not a problem at all. So just keep that in mind. See, what are some other things I want to talk about? Somebody actually mentioned it. I think I'm trying to look at the chat a little bit on questions, but something else that I wanted to talk about. I get my page here that I didn't get to before my time frame because it was going out and we're already 45 minutes in. I wanted to talk about a little bit about the price protection and some different things like that. So a couple different screenshots that I want to show you. So if you're out there and you had an order that was originally a front wheel drive with the 4K tow package and you had to upgrade to an all-wheel drive, those vehicles are starting to show up at dealers right now. We had one last week. We weren't sure how to get the extra $2,220 rebate or a private offer or certificate to get that. I have that information of how to claim that. So if you're a dealer out there and you're watching this, great. If you're a customer, you can tell your dealer how to do this. So it is a pretty easy deal. What they have to do is, let me pop this up here. They have to go to the Maverick lead to order program within their CNI platform there. So you go there. They're over there on the left side are different tasks. Unbuildable orders is what you're looking for. Once you click that unbuildable orders, right? Then you're going to see something like this. Okay, a list of your unbuildable orders. There's our vehicles that are unbuildable orders, and all those are for the same reason. They are people that went up to the front, from front wheel drive to all wheel drive so they could get the 4K tow package, right? You click on those hyperlinks for that order. So in this case, that bottom one down there, we already fulfilled. So that M04H. But when you do that, you're going to see a screen like this. And basically, you'll want to go in there, hit that little button at the top, go down to change from front wheel drive to all wheel drive, fill out the rest of the information. When you submit it, you'll see this at the bottom where it basically gives you the certificate number, the date, and everything else. Once you've done that, then you can go back, the dealer can go back to the smart vents and that certificate will be there. They say usually within 24 hours, it happened instantaneous for us, for this customer, and that was in there and they were able to get that certificate. So we know how to do that. So if your dealer is having issues with that, tell them I was told that if you go, their Ford rep will know how to do this. So if they go in, they can go into the CNI, go into the Maverick program, unbuildable orders, fill that out, submit it, good to go. It doesn't take very long whatsoever, so that's going to be real easy to do. All right, the other thing I want to talk about is if you are curious about the protecting your incentives. So some people asked about that last week, and I do have information on that. I received it in the middle of last week. So if you're someone that wants to lock in your incentives, 0%, can be locked in. So you'll notice on this is a smart vent. This is what a dealership would see and pull incentives on the vehicle. Once they put in the VIN number, fill out the customer's information, it says right there in the middle where it says incentives based on, it can be based on the sale date or the production date. And by the way, Johnny's Car Care and Reviews has talked about this months ago on how this is done, and this is how it's done. So if you pick a sale date, it's going to be based on incentives from today, from the day that you punched that in. In this case, it was February 18th. Now, in the other case, if you click the protected date, which is what we did in this situation, you'll see that was from October 4th is when that order was put in, and there's a 0% for 36, and you can claim those incentives from that date. So you pick either the sale date or the protect date, and you get the incentives from that date, including the 0% that was available in October. So you do not lose that. Some people were concerned about that, nervous about that. You do not lose that. Also, the price protection. How does that work? Customers have contacted me and said, my order's coming in. It shows on the window sticker that the price increase. Am I not getting that price? The way that's going to work is, in the invoices as well as the window stickers will show the new price increase. But the dealer is where you would honor that. So you'll need to make sure you have a copy of your original order sheet when you came in with that price, and the dealership will match that up, and then the dealership will get refunded by Ford the difference of that. So basically, this is how it's worded. The brand manager sent this over because this is something that I don't deal with a lot. We have somebody already, and they're like, oh yeah, I know how to do that. We do that all the time on orders in the middle of a year when to go job order 2 and everything. That's not a problem. We know how that works. So our dealership knows how to do this, but I didn't. So basically, it says price protection guarantees the original price level of the vehicle as long as it is reported sold to the original ordering customer. Stock vehicles are not eligible. Price protection covers both the base, option, and destination and delivery prices of the vehicle and will automatically be paid approximately 45 days after the vehicle is reported sold to the same customer for whom the vehicle was ordered. So the dealership will basically get a refund back for the amounts for that. So, in case like if it's just a Copilot 360, it's like $120 or something. So dealership will make sure they match those prices to the original order that they had with those prices and everything, and then the dealer will get refunded that when that gets sent over to Ford and they see that it matches up to the person that ordered the vehicle, then they'll get refunded that amount. So I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover, and it only took me 50 minutes. So, and I haven't answered any of your guys' questions. I apologize, but I thought that was just some really good information this week with some of the different Ford news that came out and some other things that came up this last week. It was a big week in a way of information, and I just wanted to make sure we shared it all with you. And I'll stay on later. If we want to stay on till 9 o'clock and answer questions, I'll do that. So I'll try to do that. Of course, don't forget, if you have a question for me, put that at McArthur, just like the moderator put in there. So at McArthur will tag me, highlights that orange, so then I can make sure I get that question. So if I have not answered your question yet, go ahead and put that in there, because I hate to spend time scrolling up right now with you guys. So I'm going to answer the couple ones that are right here. But if you have a question, did not get it answered by the community, sometimes the community knows as much as I do on there. If they didn't answer you and you have a question, then pop that in there. So let me go to let's go up here to Ridgeview. All right, I'll start with Ridgeview's commenting on that, and then JR here, he said, "What is the time frame for in production to build to receive the email status?" Okay. So a lot of times that vehicle is let's say it's slated to be built today, for instance, right? You should probably got an email last week, usually the week before, that says your vehicle is being sent to the plant. It's actually being sent to the plant for us on the dealer side. Basically, it'll say your vehicle is in production, and that's usually you'll get that email saying that it's going into production. Here's your window sticker. It's being produced on the 22nd, for instance, today. And then the vehicle is built. Technically, the vehicle is built that day. But if it has a luxury package or a spray and bed liner or a bed cover, once it's built, it's sent off to the body company. And I will tell you, there really isn't a timeline. Just depends on how many of those they have in line and how long it might take. I've seen vehicles be in there for a couple weeks, or usually like a week, but usually that can take a little bit of time. So if you have something like that, you have a luxury package, it's going to go in production. It may go to the body company, the 23rd, and then it might be there for a week. And then on the 30th, then you'll get another email that once that is done and it returns from the body company, is what they call it. I like to call it the mod center. Well, they just call it the mod center. But once it comes back, then it's set up to be shipped. Then at that point, it is scheduled to be shipped out, unless there's a chip hold. Recently, we've seen chip holds on some vehicles, so we might have a chip hold. In that case, it may stay there waiting for the chip to come in, and then once it's done, then it's shipped out. So usually then you'll get an email, hey, it's headed to your dealership, and that's when that email goes out. So you'll get an in-production email, and then you should get an email once a vehicle has been released from the factory and has been put on a rail car. That's usually when you get an email saying you should be arriving at your dealership. Usually give you a between 3 and 4 week time frame in that window there. Hopefully that helps you out there. So no, I don't know the exact time, I guess. That would have been a quicker answer, right? But all right, so wow, we had a bunch come up. Okay, have a scheduled build week of 228. Salesman called me today and told me my Bronco was built yesterday and ship date of 3/2. No email from Ford, no window sticker, so I'm confused. It could be that he maybe is getting yours mixed up with another one. A lot of times we'll use order numbers based on the salesperson's initials and then numbers in between. And so sometimes we've accidentally used the same order number on a couple different vehicles. And so maybe that's what he did. I don't know for sure. We just have to you'd have to reach out to him to get clarification on that. Our first edition Mavericks sure to be made. Yes, they will. In fact, we had a lot of them scheduled or this month, and we have 5 left to schedule. So of our 17, we have all but 5 scheduled. Those other 5 will probably schedule here this next month, I'd imagine. But yes, they will. And they actually mentioned, I actually mentioned that. Oh wait, here on the Q&A, actually talks about. What is the latest customer delivery timing anticipated for remaining 22 model year Maverick retail orders? It says 22 model year Maverick trucks will be delivered to customers as late as the fall of this year. So they are going to be doing production through the summer and be receiving them even into the fall. So like just kind of like I had actually said that. That's what was my thinking was that when with order banks opening when it does for 23 of how long production for 22 would last, and it actually does. They do confirm that here that they're going to be delivered to customers as late as fall of 22, and that is for 22 model years. So good to know. All right. Cooper Smith Productions. Let's see, Tim, any updates or info regarding the glowing red catalytic converters? You know, we haven't had any issues with that in any of our orders. Nobody's really reached out from anybody that's ordered from us and mentioning it. I know a lot of people have been posting these on different websites and such, or on some of the vehicles that they've done, and we haven't really seen it with any of our customers. So until we have some issue here in our our parts department or our service department can, has worked with that. It's hard for me to be able to answer that question. So I'm not really sure. You know, not really sure. I need to watch that video. I still haven't watched that video. I haven't had time yet to be able to do that, to see what theirs are doing. But we haven't had any issues. Service hasn't let me know. I might reach out to them and say, hey, if you have heard of any service-related issues on any of our Mavericks, let us know. The people that have Mavericks here have not had any issues with that, but I got to be honest, none of our salespeople or none of our employees have hybrids. So I think this is mainly on the hybrid vehicles. So anyway, all right. Moving down. All right, CR. So does this date configured priority start today, or are they saying that this is how they've been doing it all along? They have been doing it all along, and I know you say it's not true, but again, there are 4 things to take in consideration. It was not just the order date, but also how they can build them and commodity constraints and such, and then also dealer allocations go into that, and all those kind of things. So I know it doesn't look like it because you're seeing maybe customers at other dealers, but one region versus another region are 2 different things. And so that has a lot to do with it. I can say with orders here at the dealership, that there were orders, most of our orders that are left, like I said, almost 100% of them have the XLT luxury package, and our early ones, hybrids that have been scheduled, didn't have luxury packages. And so, you can say, yeah, we had some August ones get scheduled before some of the June or July, but they didn't have luxury packages. So I really feel like Ford's probably trying to keep to that. This is the same situation as the Bronco as well. Bronco was the same way. That's why I told people, hey, if you don't have we have so many people that ordered with the Badlands, with the 4-door, with the hard top, with the Lux package, with all these other things that were constrained. Well, they can only do so many of those because of parts, and so they're gonna fulfill what they can, and they're gonna move on to the next ones. Like some of our early ones that still haven't been scheduled. A lot of them, if we look at those orders, they're Badlands or Wildtraks. 4-door, all of them have a hard top. I've been looking at orders for one of our Bronco guys recently, and he had me go through his orders, and almost every single one, I said, let me guess, it's got a hard top. Yep. Let me guess, it's Sasquatch. Yep. And so it had a lot of similarities, just like with the luxury package. So, only so much that Ford can do with the parts that they have available. All right. DJ Main said, Tim, I ordered an XLT all-wheel drive luxury, and that's it. On 1/3/22, what are the chances of getting it gets pushed, or it comes through this year? You usually mention other things I didn't get. Well, the luxury package is, as we mentioned, is one. So that luxury package is probably going to be a determining factor in it possibly getting pushed to 22. So if it does get scheduled, it's probably going to be for this summer at the earliest. Otherwise, you may have to take that package off. All right, Joe asked, I ordered on January 7th, Lariat Luxury 360 4K tow. If I tell my dealer not to push me to a 23, will Ford eventually do that once they determine my vehicle cannot be built for 22? Yeah, if you get to a point where based on your configuration and you're adamant to keep everything, I mean, they have no choice. If they don't have enough and there are people in front of you, it might get pushed to 23. And then when that happens, basically that order will stay in there. When 22 production is done, Ford will contact us and say, hey, all your leftover unscheduled 22s, we're gonna kick them to 23. We'll rebuild them. We'll duplicate them as a 23. And then you need to go in there and confirm with your customers, that they want to keep those same options, or here's some new options for this 23 model year. Do you want to make any changes? That's usually how that'll work. All right, Benjamin asked, I have an XLT hybrid scheduled. Can I change the color? I have two scheduled, and my mother wants one, but we want different colors. Okay, so this can be done. Oh, I forgot to mention on the others. I'll mention in a second. So what it can be done. I did it on my Expedition. The earlier the better. I will say this: if you're scheduled for next week, it's too late. I'll tell you that right now. But what you can do is you can have your dealer make the change. They go into the order, they change a color, they save it, and then what it'll say is it's been submitted for amendment to the factory. At that point, the factory would have to amend it. They don't have to amend it. It just depends on how far along it is. So when I did my color change, it was the week after it got scheduled, and they took it. And I'm going to be getting the color that my wife wants. And so that's the way that's going to work. So, but yeah, so you can try, and they may or may not take it, but it's always worth a shot there. But if they've already printed the window sticker, if you've got that email that says it's in production, too late. It has to be done before that happens. So CJ said, does that Ford video guy mug fit in the door of the Maverick? I don't know. I'll have my daughter try it tomorrow on her Maverick, but it should. It's kind of a skinny one. Donkey Kong, like that name. I have an unscheduled XLT luxury package hybrid. I have seen XLT luxury hybrids ordered in September, August, scheduled the last few weeks. Why is that? You might find out, well, again, like I said, there's several scenarios. So if they're in a region that doesn't have as many of those orders, June, July orders as other regions, then that's sometimes how that can happen. So again, it's the four scenarios not only have to do with configuration and the date, but also dealer allocations and the market mix that the dealer is looking for. I mean, we had 1 month, I remember on Bronco, where the region said, we need some more big bin orders. That's what we're looking for. That's what the region's going to schedule this month. We need big bin orders, and we didn't have any. So none of ours got scheduled. Nothing else got scheduled because that's what the region was looking for. So each region sometimes gets different ones. Sometimes we've seen where one region is getting a bunch of the, like our region may have been first editions last month and getting a bunch of first editions, whereas other regions, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was hybrid XLT luxuries or something instead. They don't let us know that formula, but that might be one other reason of why somebody in September and August got scheduled and somebody else didn't. And keep in mind, some people will, just to make for a simplified post, will post, yep, I had an XLT luxury, nothing else. Well, maybe they did have, maybe they had a spare tire, or maybe they had a moonroof, or they had something else. Not that those are constraining, or it doesn't seem like it is, but that could have made the difference in that order. So if my October hybrid with 360 order is pushed to 23, will I have to reorder it once the order banks opens, or will it carry over? Will it be price protected? They haven't told us about price protected, but what'll happen is it'll carry over, and then the dealer will just have to, basically like amending your order, just updating your order. So that will go over. It'll go in there usually as a priority 99. Usually when that happens, and they'll tell us, hey, you got this many days to go through your orders and get them updated, and move them from priority 99 down to priority year 10 to 19, whatever. And that's how that'll work. Exactly how that worked with the Bronco. So I'm assuming that's exactly the same way it'll work with the Maverick as well. our 22 order pushed to 23, would you get priority over fresh? Yes, yeah, you would. They did the same thing with Bronco. They're looking at that order, the original order date. So when they push that order over and duplicate it over from a 22 to 23, that order date will go with it, the original order date. So you'll be good there. Haven't had a chance to ask my dealer yet, but noticed my estimated delivery went from 227 to 36. So close to delivery date. Anything to read into the change? More than likely, it's a chip. That's what we've noticed on most of them. Notice estimated delivery date. Probably more like a chip or shipping issue. One of the two. If they had some issues with shippers and that kind of thing. Tim, my order is with y'all. Can you check on my order and D93S? I could do that real quick. Oh, I was going to also mention that if you have an order and you have an early June, July order, more than likely your order is in priority 2, which a lot of dealers are like, I can't change priority 2s. Technically, you can't save it as a priority 2, but you can change it to a 10. And so one of the things that I've learned, you got to work real closely with your Ford rep. But on all these changes I've been making for these other customers, taking the bed covers off, they've all been priority 2s. And so what I do at that point is I change a priority to a 10, take off the bed cover, and then submit it. What it's going to do is it's going to go ahead and save the changes to take the bed cover off. It saves it as a 10. And then the Ford rep, you let the Ford rep know, hey, this order number needs to be put back to priority 2. I had to make a change to it. And they go, okay. And they submit it over to our, I think our ordering person that's in charge within our region. She goes in, she changes it back to a 2. And that's how that works. So a dealer can't change technically an order, a priority 2. They can't make the change as a 2, but you change it to a 10, make your changes, save it, and then call your Ford rep and have them take it back to a 2. What I've been doing is emailing them before I make the change, so that way they see it's a 2, and then they let me make. Of course, most of them all know. Most of the 2s right now, what I've seen is about all the June, July orders are 2s because they really want to make sure those have priority. Okay, what was that order number? And D93. I missed it. D93S. Alrighty. Boom, boom. Oh, yours is produced, it says. I'd have to, now I need to look up another place. So it is produced, it says. Let's go over to vehicle visibility and let's look up shipping information here. D93S. Look. All right, and oh yeah, so it's got a chip hold, so it is produced, but it's waiting on a chip. So hopefully it helps you out. Let you know that. So it is waiting on a chip. It does give us a date of June 5th to 11th, but that's just because it's waiting on a chip. As soon as it gets a chip, it'll bring that date down, and that's how that'll work. So there you go. All right, Dale says, how are Ford's regions divided up? You know, there's a bunch of regions, and I don't know. There's like 3 regions in Florida. There's a couple in California. The Kansas City region includes Kansas. I think it includes Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, maybe Oklahoma. I don't know. But just depends on the region, and I'm not sure. So my 22 push to a 23, does new order get priority? Yeah, I answered that earlier, so yes. But there we go. All right, how we doing here? All right. So hopefully I helped you out. Here's a couple other questions while I wait for some more questions to come in. They did send this information of these like frequently asked questions to help your answer your customers' questions. Of course, most of them I've actually answered on this live stream, which is kind of funny. But one of them says, how are customers' retail orders selected for scheduling? So somebody asked that just a second ago, and it says all Maverick truck retail orders will continue to be prioritized according to the time they were received. Oldest orders scheduled first, comma, vehicle, model, and configuration selected, part availability, completion of the required COVP. So again, if you have an order out there and you haven't checked with your dealer to see if it's been verified, that could be what's stopping your order from being selected. If your dealer never did that, or maybe they submitted it but it didn't get approved, that'd be another situation. That's what's great about this thing that the dealer sent us. I looked at ours. All of these 7 pages worth, they're all approved. The verification status on all of them are approved. So your dealer will get a list of all their orders, and it'll get a list of all the ones approved right there. See? And so your dealer will get that list, and they'll be able to look at it and go, oh, wait, that's on hold. That means your order is not going to be looked at until they get that approval. So even if they submitted the documents, if it has a fuzzy driver's license, or maybe the driver's license address doesn't match up with the order address, that'll be something that flags it. And you got to call them and go over that with them and go, well, they moved, and this is why. They haven't updated the driver's license, whatever, that kind of thing. Then another one could be that they didn't sign, they didn't fill out the entire buyer's order. If they didn't fill out their name, address, the zip, the email address, the phone number, and they didn't sign it, that's not going to work. That all has to be filled out. And so that might be holding it up. They can still resubmit them as long as they submitted them before the deadline originally. They can amend those and update them. We spent an entire workday with all of our orders going through and making sure they were all verified and approved, and our sheet is looking really good, so we're fine there. But that might be another thing holding up those orders, so keep that in mind. All right, got some more questions now. Tim, does the price protection also apply to Super Duties? If so, could post a copy of the form you showed. I think you're talking about, okay, to protect the price. Yeah, if there's any price change on any models, because I think Maverick was a big one that was talked about back in December, but also there were F-150 was another model that had a price increase, as well as I think Ranger. And so it works with all those. So anytime there's a price update, if you order in 1 month and then there's a price change and it goes up, then you're price protected from your order date. So that always happens on anytime you order a vehicle, you're protected to what the price was when you ordered the vehicle. If the price goes up, they're going to still protect that. It's going to be done the same way. So the dealer has to take care of that. You don't have to do anything on your part other than remind them that you ordered with this price, and so that they make sure that that's on your deal when you go to do your paperwork. Hey, Tim, I'm interested in the Ranger Raptor. Can I already place a reservation with you guys? No. The Ranger Raptor is 2023 will be in Europe. It's going to be released. The 23 Ranger as well as the 23 Ranger Raptor will be released in Europe, and we'll probably see it as a 24 after that. So it'll come to the U.S. a year after that, I believe. So I don't think we're going to see it as a 23. We'll probably see it as a 2024. So it's going to be a little while. Dan asked, were Bronco orders that were rolled over, price protected, could give insight on what to expect with Maverick? Yes, they were. They were price protected. They did, like one instance I think I mentioned last week about the Wildtrak edition, was that on the Wildtrak they changed it from being a standard hardtop to standard cloth top, and then they lowered the price as a difference of that. So if somebody wanted to still have a hardtop, it was the exact same price that they originally ordered for 21. And they also changed the bumper as well on that. So they made it a capable front bumper instead of the modular front bumper. And so if they still wanted the modular, they lowered the price to justify for both of those things. So if the customers wanted to order the original way, then they would have to add those options, but it would still come out to the same price. So they did that on Bronco as well. I ordered the Lariat with the LLP. Can I remove the spray-in bed liner without moving the LLP? I think you mean the luxury package. Oh, Lariat luxury package. I said. Okay, sorry, wasn't there. Lariat luxury package. You cannot take off the bed liner without taking off the package. They go together. So you can't just take off one. You can never take off one feature of a package. The package goes together. Tim, how long can I continue to extend my RCL with Ford credit while I wait for a Maverick? I've already extended 7 months and getting through. I'm not sure. It's a good question. That reminds me. I have to. I have to extend my Expedition lease. I just remember that. Thanks for reminding me there, Bob. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long you can extend it, but if you're expecting it to be here, I think they can keep extending it. It's really up. I think Ford Credit. You just have to reach out to Ford Credit and ask them But I need to do that on mine as well. I got to extend mine because mine got pushed back. And hey, let's just for fun, let's look up my order. Okay, it's fun for me. May not be fun for you guys, but hopefully, hopefully I've given you guys some information that you stuck around for, that you'll oblige me here and checking on my own order and seeing if it got moved anymore. It got moved back 2 weeks. Let's see, order, where are we at now? Okay, so now I have a build date of 3/3. So we'll see if that holds. It says not amendable, which is actually could be a good thing. So we're only just over a week away, week and a half away. March 3rd, 3/3. That's a Thursday. Cool. All right. Anyway, thanks. I'm done. Okay. Helpful tip to new viewers: if you want, yes, please tag at McArthur. Thank you. Because that's the first comments I'm looking for is the at McArthur. So if I missed something, I apologize. I'm scrolling through. There are builds today. 2/22/22 posted on Facebook today with their Maverick and build date. That's pretty cool. The Maverick was formally accepted by Ford on Thursday, September 23rd, 21, but no news. Any thoughts on when it will be likely to be built? So September, I mean, you probably, again, there's those 4 criterias that go into place. And so there's a lot to be able to tell. A lot of it has to do with how many orders you have. Like if you had your order with us, more than likely, I'd say at least a couple more months before it's going to get scheduled. That's just my guess. Again, we still have, a bunch of orders that need to be done and go through. So it could take a little while if you're with us. If you're with another dealer, who knows? It could be maybe a little sooner, but should be about the same timeline. Tim, my Bronco order status. When will I qualify to order an Everglades edition? Everglades editions are for people that have unscheduled Bronco orders. So yours is already scheduled with the build date and everything. So we basically, if you have, basically what they're doing is Ford is rewarding those people that have been waiting for over, almost a year and a half now. Orders had to be in by March 17th of last year. And so they've been waiting for about a year for those orders to get scheduled. And some of them still haven't been scheduled. So some of you out there that hopefully it's not like Bronco for you, Maverick owners, but some of those Bronco order holders that have, Badlands and Wildtrak, they've still been waiting over a year for a scheduled date and have not gotten one. A lot of these people, June of 2020, put in a reservation, ordered in January. It got closed off in March, and they've been waiting since last March for a scheduled date and still have not been scheduled. I have a colleague here that is 500 days and running that he's been waiting since he did his reservation. And so those customers, those people that have not gotten scheduled build dates, they're the ones that are going to be the first chance to get the Raptor and the Everglades edition and that Haas 3.0 for their Wildtraks. So, and we do have several people that have a Wildtrak build, so they could elect to go up to that. So we'll have to get information from Ford exactly how that happens. But then eventually, I'm sure that once they take everybody that wants one, and wants one of those, if they don't sell out, like the Raptor sold out and they didn't fulfill everybody. We still had several people that raised their hand for those that didn't get them. We had 4 out of probably about 20 people at our dealership that still had been unscheduled. So so some of those can get an Everglades if they want to, and we'll just see how many they're going to do the same thing with that. And those emails probably have already gone out to those customers to see who wants those. And at that point, then they could see who wants it, and then they can, then they're probably going to do the same thing and letting them know how many people are up for those, and then we'll know if it doesn't doesn't sell out, then they'll probably make it available to the public for those that want to put in an order at that point. So, and then we'll probably see it. Both the Raptor as well as the Everglades edition will probably be available for 23 as well when those come. Once we see that launch too. Whoa. I just missed a bunch of questions. Here we go. Tim, I ordered in November XLT with all-wheel drive. Do you think I am looking at a 23 still? All-wheel drive or hybrid or EcoBoost? Well, never mind. Oh, it is an EcoBoost. So XLT EcoBoost with all-wheel drive. Do you think I'm looking at a 23? If you don't have the luxury package, I'd say you're probably looking at a 22. And that's just November EcoBoost order. If you didn't put in a luxury package or Copilot 360 or spray and bed liner or a tonneau cover, then you're probably looking at a 22. That's just my thinking here. XL Hybrid October small town dealership. What are your chances? Well, it depends. If you believe in the guy that's been posting a lot of comments on my videos, telling us that we're bad people for not telling our customers to order someplace else because we have too many orders, he would say that you should have already ordered your vehicle already, because the small town dealers are going to get theirs before we are. So, so that just depends if you want to go for that. But XL Hybrid October, I still think they're trying to go by that time frame. Region has a lot to do with it as well. If you didn't order, the XL Hybrid does help you out, because like you saw with ours, we're down to just a few September ones, and most of them are October. So I think good chances are really good of getting probably scheduled here, maybe in a month, maybe two, because they're going to be constrained. They're going to do so many of the luxury packages, and they're going to be looking at the ones without luxury packages, which would be your order there. So I think you got a pretty good shot of maybe getting scheduled next month or two. Sorry, I've got to take a drink. All right, Joe said, if I end up getting pushed to 23, I hope they have a hybrid all-wheel drive option in Sync 4. I'll definitely switch from my EcoBoost. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have some changes. We'll see what they are. I know they're wanting to move into more electrified vehicles, so I don't know if it'll happen this soon, but I see us seeing maybe a plug-in or an all-electric version available soon. I don't know about soon, but in the future, I should say. All right, Alan said, I had to purchase my lease, which still has equity. How would a trade-in work from out of state? Yeah, if you're driving in, it's not a big deal. It's just like anything else. So your trade-in would work like anything. So trade the vehicle in. But you'd have to, the hard part about that is if you are, if you're purchasing it, another option for you too is if you purchase your vehicle off of a lease, which I did the same thing on my Fusion Hybrid recently. Oh my, okay. If you have a coming out of a lease right now, go ahead and you should buy the vehicle, or at least use it as a trade-in, because the lease residual based on what the value is, wow, you're going to come out way ahead, especially if you ordered a vehicle and got MSRP, which is the best way to get a vehicle right now is to order one at MSRP, have a trade-in. It definitely is worth so much more than it would any other time right now, and that is the best way to buy a vehicle right now, in my opinion. So, but that's something. I mean, if you're out of state, you would have to drive the trade-in in. If you're so far away and don't want to drive in, you want us to just ship our vehicle to you. The other thing is go to Carvana. They'll buy the vehicle from you, pretty good values. A lot of people are doing that as well, or they're selling it, on their own, private party, that kind of thing. Sam, any update on my Bronco order M44L? Let's just. Right. Well, it says produced. Let's go to vehicle visibility like we did on the other one. All right. It is chip hold right now. So it looks like, it is produced, but it's waiting on a chip. So at this point, it's showing a dates of May 1st to the 7th, but really just as soon as I get some chips. So there you go. All right. And Dave asked, would a November ordered pepper red paint, a full spare hitch, and outlet cause my vehicle to be abnormally delayed? Not if you're talking XL. And so, but even XLT, I guess it wouldn't delay it really. So, all right. Jose said, my dealer confirmed that ROVP was submitted and approved. I assume that it is a matter of time since my order was submitted in October. Yes. Or the Lariat hybrid. The wait hurts. Yeah, it does take a little while. COVP, not ROVP. Yeah, Maverick is actually calling it on the Maverick. They're calling it ROVP because it has to be done in the Maverick reservation to order. That's just a platform that they set up when they started with reservations, and then they flipped everything over. So that's why it's called that. All right, did I miss some? I think I missed a bunch of comments up here. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Will my grandson get his Maverick if he just got a XL and ordered in October, and I ordered 7.7 but got the XLT Lux? I think they both have a good shot of getting scheduled. So they're just, I don't really know Ford's formula, especially for their region and that market formula. I don't really know. But so I do know, like we've seen on the Lightning, we've seen a lot more people in EV states get scheduled than in non-EV states. So I don't know if they're using some of that, especially for people with hybrid. And that's why we see more people maybe that have a later, hybrid order that are getting theirs before other people. It could be because of their state that they're in, and it goes by the delivering dealer, not necessarily where they live. That could have something to do with it as well. All right, my Maverick Hybrid Lariat first edition with Lux package and Rapid Red was ordered 7/2, scheduled 2/14, produced 2/17, and shipped yesterday. So there is a hope. There you go. All right, congrats, Neil. It's on its way. All right, Tim, my EcoBoost XLT FX4 with nothing else adding was accepted by Ford on January 9th. My dealer is a small rural dealer in Kentucky. Should I expect a 22 Maverick? I would think, just because you have an XLT with nothing else on it as an EcoBoost, so I would think that you should, but it's hard to tell. And really, they had said mostly is that they can't produce all the ones with the luxury packages. So if everybody switched, those late people, if they all switched over, they're saying they can produce them all. So if you don't have a luxury package, you should feel pretty confident that you're going to get a 22, according to what they said, right? I'm looking at some of my notes here because I was thinking they actually preface that. Yeah. So how many hybrids will you? Oh wait, so how many will you plan to produce? And they said the 40% mix for 22 model year standard hybrid ordering. So I think if you have an EcoBoost, you should feel pretty confident you're going to get it for 22. It's the hybrid that is constrained at 40% and that kind of thing that would be more concerning. And really, the people with the luxury packages more than anything, or 360. Is Copilot 360 now constrained for Mavericks? Yes. They actually have percentages here on this one sheet that I have. It actually says 40% on the hybrid, 39% on the spray and bed liner. And then they don't say anything about the luxury packages, but 36% for the Copilot 360. So that actually has lowered. More and more people are ordering the Copilot 360. I think as the vehicles have gotten out in the public and people are seeing them, they've actually seen how they like that. And so I think more people have been switching over to Copilot 360. Tim sounds salty about them. Yeah, well, you know. All right. Would a November order? I think I answered that. Build week of 4/18. When will window sticker be available? Usually the week before. That's when that'll be available. You ordered a hybrid September, October, November with a luxury 360 spray and bed liner will get pushed to 23. Possibly. Yeah, that's basically what they're saying is that some of those orders are going to get pushed, but they're going to try to go in order. So, I mean, I guess my initial thought was September, you're probably good. You might have some October, November non-luxury packages and non-360 hybrids that'll get scheduled ahead of you, but doesn't mean yours won't get scheduled. I think it's more likely that the October, November hybrids with the luxury package are going to get kicked to 23 or they have to change theirs. F-150 is built and waiting for chips. Any idea how long the delay could be? No, I'm not sure. I know some people were waiting on some people that were waiting on their builds from this month. I think they're starting to just a couple weeks before those chips are showing up. So I think they're coming through. It's processing. So I don't know, but I know some people that have had some. I think there's even some people in the live stream that have had a chip hold on theirs, and now theirs are shipping out. So I'm hoping maybe just a couple weeks, and I think they just leave that date way out just to protect themselves of saying, we don't want to say we haven't fulfilled it, and then they'll move those dates once it gets scheduled out. So hopefully, even on F-150, it's the same way. It's just a couple weeks, and then you see an update on your delivery date. Thank you for all the information. I look forward to you live. Thanks. All right. Small town Ford dealer. Wait a minute. Oh, there's another one. The 334-4375 Ford number has my tracking number, so that is okay for the order being approved from the dealer. Actually, they can't see the ROVP or COVP approval. Only your dealer can. And really, since they got the email today, they can see this same information. They have access to that same report. So they gave a report to every dealer that has their orders, and it has the verification status on that order. So you can say, hey, can you check your email today and see if mine was fully approved? You just got to double check with the dealer, because the 800 number, they actually can't see that. They're seeing the order itself. Like if I'm in Webdo, they see basically, they probably have access to Webdo or whatever. So they basically can see the order itself. That order doesn't show whether it's approved or not. You have to go in to the other program to see that, and the Ford customer support does not have access to that, I don't believe. All right, my small town Ford dealer has a bad reputation. Too bad, because I love buying local. Plus the integrity along McArthur Ford and Maverick. Mike Mole sold me from them. Yes, and hopefully we can get yours scheduled soon. So, and here's an example. We have our moderator here who is so nice and everything. We actually did not get one of his orders approved. I've talked about it. It's been a while though. And so we have another great member that had 2 on order and gave his over to him, but that one has not scheduled yet because it has the luxury package. But hopefully soon we'll get yours scheduled. So if I had any kind of pull at all, I'd definitely give him a call, because you deserve it. You're such an awesome guy. And he's in Florida right now. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Can the 360 be installed after delivery at the dealership? No, it cannot. It's the lane keeping system and your Copilot 360, your lane keeping system and your Bliss system. It cannot, and I think it should be standard on every vehicle, by the way, but it cannot be put on at the dealer. Ordered Eco Mav XLT Velocity Blue on January 25th. Been waiting for 20 calendar days for update from pending to approve. Is that normal? Yeah, it should. If it's in pending, it means they're still looking at it. So that's not a bad thing. But usually it's when you see a hold or approval is when you need to wait for that. But pending, it is kind of a long time. It should be quicker than that. You might check with your dealer and see, and maybe they can give them a call, and they could say, hey, can you look at it? If their Ford rep can look at that order and say, hey, can you look at this and see why it's not approved yet? And sometimes it just needs a little bit of a nudge from the corporate. Enjoy another live chat. I'll catch the end tomorrow on the way into the office. Have a good evening. Well, thanks, Jack, for coming in and joining us. And it is 8:30. It's normal time for us to be done, but if you have a few more questions, I can answer those. I think I've answered all the frequently asked questions on this that I had left. By the way, Ridgeview, my daughter is home safe. Made it home Saturday night. It was a rough night because I had to get up and do video for the church the next morning at 6:30, 6 in the morning. But it was a rough night because she came in at 11 o'clock, 11:30, almost midnight by the time we made it home. But she made it home safely. So just in case you're wondering about that. Selling mine already in transit. Oh yeah, because you got the Escape, didn't you, Adrian? Might be an option, actually. I'll have to look. Actually, I'm thinking that yours might have already been scooped up by somebody. I don't know. I think there was somebody else that was needing one on my list. I have like 20 people that are looking for Mavericks on my list when we get one available. So something I forgot to mention earlier on that about the pricing is that, of course, if you get one from us, I'll knock $2,500 off either one of those prices. So EcoBoost $2,500 or hybrid at $5,000. So I can do that. So I've gotten the approval from management for a YouTube special for that. But so they warmed him. I tell you what. So Sunday, it was 70 degrees here. We had to top down the Bronco. We went for a ride with the grandson and son. Went and got Starbucks drinks and a little treat and everything. Beautiful day. Yesterday, 73 degrees. Today, it's 20. So you are in Kansas when there's a 50-degree swing from one day to the next. It's crazy. It is cold here. That's why I got the vest on today. So is a Copilot 360 an option that has to go to the mod station? No. Those are usually put on at the factory. Usually the mod station is stuff that have to do with the bed, your bed covers, spray and liners, the rails that go on the bed, those kind of things. Splash guards put on by the dealer, I think. But stuff like that, bed covers and all kind of stuff, that stuff is usually what gets done at the mod center or the body company is what they call it. So, but not Copilot 360 usually. They're just restricted on stuff. So yeah, if you have just Copilot 360 and you don't have the luxury package, then it won't go to the body company typically. So I appreciate everybody in here. We had over 600. I think at one point I looked over here and we had over 600 people in here. So really cool. Glad that everybody come in. Evidently they probably wanted to hear what I had to say about the different topics, but there's a lot going on with the Maverick this week, and even all kinds of Ford news and update with the Ranger and the Bronco and all kinds of stuff this week. So sorry I just rattled on and off at the beginning, but I just thought it was good information that you guys would want to hear about. So hopefully it wasn't too boring. But you do have the timestamp, so you can always flip along too. So anyway. Well, any other questions, don't forget, we're going to be on Facebook. If you're on Facebook and you want to ask some questions, I've had some people actually said they'd rather, they're glad I'm on Facebook because it gives them an opportunity to be able to answer my question and get their question answered. So anyway, so hopefully, so last question here. Picked up my truck today. Dealer said no price protection. Please need a copy of that form to show them. There's actually no form you fill out. The dealer just has to do that. So they have to honor the price, and then they submit it showing that you were the original person that ordered the vehicle and that your order was put in before the price update, and then Ford reimburses the dealer. So the dealer basically is losing money at the beginning, but they'll get it back from Ford 45 days later, and that's how that's supposed to work. So the dealer should honor that price. And be price protected. So yeah, so you need to contact your dealer. That's how it needs to work there. Going down to 5 tonight. -5 tonight. Yeah, I don't know. It's supposed to get cold here tonight. I don't know what it is right now. 14 degrees right now. Not too bad, but yeah, we're supposed to be in the teens pretty much every day this week. So thanks for another great live stream. Have a great night. All right. Well, I think that's kind of I think where we're all headed. So again, thanks for everybody for joining the live stream tonight. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, we'll be over at Facebook on Thursday night, 6 p.m., not 7 p.m. Thursday night. So I don't want to stay up late with you guys that night too. But so Thursday night. So if you have any other questions, come on over there. Save them for that night. You can also send them over to the fordvideoguy at gmail.com. If you have any other questions, I'll try to answer those tomorrow for people that ask those tonight. And then don't forget, if you're not subscribed yet, hit the red subscribe button down below so you can get subscribed over to the channel. There you go. Hit that notification bell. That way you can get notified next time we have another video uploaded to the YouTube channel. Appreciate you. And don't forget, if you want to become a member, the link is down in the description as well. You can become a member that way, as well as down, if you click that join button down below, you can also become a member. And becoming a member, we are doing giveaways every week. So don't forget, if you are a member, tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, I'll be posting. Don't forget to comment on the post which item you'd like to win that I post on there. And then don't forget to only post one comment. That helps me out. So I think I do appreciate that. So Logan, I had one last question before we go out here. Maverick XL, January 13th, Eco tow hitch build date. Again, I'm just guessing because I really don't know. I don't know if it's with us, with another dealer. Again, January 13th, but it's an Eco. If all you added was the tow hitch, you don't have, it's an XL, then you're probably pretty likely to get scheduled for a 22. Guaranteeing when, it'll probably be this summer, to be honest. Probably, again, remember they're going to be producing through the summer, which in their minds, summer starts the middle of June, going through July, August, and into September probably, again, because the first day of fall is, well, if they even say into fall, they could be producing even through September, who knows, for 22s. So you could probably be a summer scheduled date probably for July. That's my guess. I'd like to have all these guesses and see how accurate I am for these, but anyway. So again, thanks for the donation there and the question there. Thanks for another great live stream. Okay, again, well, thanks for everybody for joining me. Thanks to the moderator out there. Appreciate all his efforts in helping keep everything going, especially when I rattle on for 45, 50 minutes with the news at the beginning. So I do appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks again. Till next week, we'll see you later. Have a great week. Stay warm if it's cold where you're at. If it's nice where it's at, get out and enjoy the weather. Till next week, we'll see you later.